Hey everyone, Wixman Ray here. Quick weather update for January 18th. This is Sunday, 2026. This is our visual weather satellite from the GOES satellites that sit near the equator. And this is basically what it looks like if you were up in space looking down on the Earth. This is an actual visual, what it looked like. So all that white stuff is clouds. So basically, you can see across the west, very quiet. You can see some clouds out over California and up into the Pacific Northwest area, Idaho, and then some stuff across the northern plains, Midwest, and then that system we talked about yesterday extends from the Gulf of Mexico across North Florida and along the East Coast. Moving on here. Hey, I wanted to show you this. This is kind of a cool, it's what we call our RGB loops. That stands for red, green, and blue. This is another weather satellite. Let me go back here a little bit for you so you can see it a little better, because once the sun starts rising, it kind of takes things out. You can't see it as well. Anyways, this is looking over the Pacific Ocean, and then California is right up in here. That white stuff, kind of whitish yellow stuff you see there, that's the fog out in central California, the Thule fog as they call it. This is a really useful product for us meteorologists to see where the fog is at night, because it's hard to see it unless you got a special satellite sensor to look at it and tell you where it's at. And otherwise, you see a big storm out over the Pacific there, really not going to cause any problems for the West Coast anytime soon. You see that yellowish, orangish stuff up here in Washington, Oregon, northern Idaho, even down into southern Idaho. That's fog and low clouds, or stratus as we call it. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. That's kind of cool. Just looking at our current observations with the radar overlaid across the United States. Out west, we're under high pressure. Got a little bit of high clouds. We got that Thule fog. It's down 1/8 of a mile at Fresno, really. And below that at Sacramento. So dense fog out there. Be careful if you're driving in those parts. The fog and low cloud I talked about up in this part of the country. We got this low pressure clipper system, as they call it, up across the northern plains. We've got some high wind warnings in parts of Montana, down into parts of the Dakotas. And then this stuff here, this red you see, that's a blizzard warning. So there's some really strong winds. They're gusting up over 40, almost 50 miles an hour up in here. Getting pretty cold too. In the single digits up there across the Dakotas, and a little bit of light snow and snow flurries. Although this is nothing too significant in the way of accumulations, but they do have snow on the ground. So when those winds blow, it causes visibility issues. So they got a blizzard warning. Yeah, as we head down to the south. Cold air goes all the way down to Texas. It's 35 in Dallas, 29 in Oklahoma City, and 20 in Kansas City. Even across the south and southeast, all in the 30s. Even the 40s in the Florida Panhandle. So chilly. We can see rain all the way up the East Coast. A little bit of light snow mixed in here. Winter storm warnings were out for this part of Georgia. We talked about that chance of snow yesterday. So they got a little bit of snow out there. Haven't heard of reports, but I'm sure they got several inches probably. Then they got some winter storm warnings up here around not Buffalo, but Watertown, New York, and Syracuse. Looking at the orientation, that's more towards Watertown. I used to live up in this area years ago. So this is lake effect snow. So getting some lake effect snows up there. Otherwise quiet, lingering snow moving out of Maine. So down in the South Florida, it's 81 in Miami, so still warm down there, but this cold front right along here, you see, that's going to dip down and cool them off later on as we get into tomorrow. So sorry about the bouncing around. We're kind of low tech here right now until I get the proper equipment. Hey, I wanted to show you this. This is from the American model, the GFS. That's what we just saw. Well, never mind. This is what we call 500 millibar. So this is about 18,000 feet above sea level. So wherever you're at in the United States, in the mountains, it's a little bit lower, but over the plains, it's a little bit higher. But it's all the same height over the United States. So these lines you see are what we call isopleths. They're lines of equal pressure, or heights as it would be for this chart. It's a geopotential height. And you see these yellows and reds. So this kind of shows you where there's going to be upward motion and circular flow. Kind of, that's what creates low pressures and usually creates clouds and sometimes precipitation. So we like to look at this to see where we could possibly see clouds and rain and stormy conditions. So anyways, and another useful thing for this product is it kind of will give you a general idea where the warmer or above normal temperatures may be and the colder temperatures. So you kind of see out here in the west, you kind of got high pressure, or what we call ridging back in here. So it's going to be warmer than normal and warmer for January for this part of the world for the most part. And this whole dip, as we call it, this is a whole trough, what we call in the meteorology world. And this is basically bringing all these are wind barbs. This is bringing cold air out of Canada and the Arctic all the way down to the south. So that's why the south is a little bit chilly right now. So kind of a quick cool thing. Just kind of looking forward in time. This is as of this evening on Sunday. Kind of move forward, same general pattern. You see those little bit of that red showing up, coming down. That's it. You just see that continually happening across the north. Those are little vortexes or low pressures that come down out of Canada. You see that really big dip there. This is what, on Friday, that's going to bring some really cold air up in here across the northern part of the United States, into the northeast as we get into the end of the week. So, and down towards California, we see this little system. It was kind of tracking a little bit different yesterday. This little low pressure system here might bring a little bit of light rain to California and snow to the mountains, but it's kind of weak, so and doesn't have a lot of moisture, so probably not going to be a big weather producer for California. So at least that's what it looks like at this point. So anyways, just thought I'd show you that. This is the same GFS American model here. Let's go back in time here to about right now. Actually, we'll start off with this evening. This is what we call, this would be about 6 p.m. in the central U.S., 4 p.m. out west, like in California. So you can kind of see this low pressure sitting up over the Great Lakes. This is showing some light snows, just really light stuff. But you see this tightly packed, what we call isobars. That's where your wind's going to be. So it's going to be gusty winds and cold. This is bringing that cold air right out of Canada. So definitely cold through the plains, northern and central plains, all the way down through the south. You can see tonight we still got some lingering rain along the coast, east coast. A little bit of snow might be mixed in on the backside. So watch for that out towards Virginia and even up near New York City, I guess. So, and then you can see it extends down towards South Florida a little bit. So that front definitely is dipping south and going to cool it down into South Florida for the folks that live down there. So we'll just kind of step forward in time. This is Monday morning. We got that next little clipper well, that clipper we talked about across the Great Lakes, that's just going to kind of track across as we go into Monday night. In its wake, there'll be some lake effect snows setting up again across Lake Erie, Lake Michigan, Lake Ontario, so Buffalo, maybe Syracuse, Watertown, and then parts of Michigan and near Lake Superior, where they'll see some lake effect snows with that cold air coming over those lakes. Otherwise, pretty quiet. This is Tuesday morning. We've got another little clipper coming into Montana and North Dakota. It's going to be the same kind of thing. Not as much wind with this one, just a little brief shot of snow or flurries, but not much. Then we're getting now into the middle of the week. This is where we start seeing a little bit of a change here, and we'll talk more about the temperatures later, but the south starts to moderate. You see some rain breaking out into Texas. Still them light snows going across the Great Lakes, another clipper with some winds again coming into the northern plains. That'll bring another shot of cold air as we get towards Wednesday. And once again, not a lot of snow unless you're in the lake effect belt where they get all that tons and tons of snow every winter, well, most winters if it's cold. And you can see that rain kind of spreading east across the south into Tennessee and Kentucky. This is Thursday morning, and as we head towards Friday, kind of quiet. We see another system developing there across Oklahoma and Arkansas. This one, so we talked about this yesterday, it was a little farther north. So like I said, you get this far out, 5-6 days out, and the models are usually pretty good. They say, hey, there's going to be some sort of storm, but we're not exactly sure where it's going to form and the timing. So there's always variation. So the next model run tonight or tomorrow may say something totally different, but it'll probably still show a storm. But anyways, looking towards Friday into the weekend, they're showing some wintry weather across the south, Oklahoma, Arkansas, even going down to the southeast as we head into Saturday. I mean, look at that, all the way down into Texas, Louisiana, along the I-20 corridor. Yeah, looks kind of sketchy out there for if you're driving or traveling or just living down there. Keep an eye out for the weather as you head into next week, and it's going to definitely get cold again too. You can see this high pressure dipping down. That's bringing all that cold air behind it into the plains and parts of the south there and the east coast. So something to watch. Final thing I'm going to show you, this is kind of cool. This is what we call, this comes, well, decided to reset. Let me see if I can get there real quick for you. This is what we call, where's it at? Sorry about this. This is our temperature anomaly. So this is going to tell you if it's going to be warmer than normal or colder than normal. So this is Sunday. You can kind of see across the west, even parts of the Central Plains, a little bit warmer than normal as we get into the day today. Up across the north, you see Northern Plains, Canada. That's that next clipper bringing in that cold air. So that's like 10 to 20 degrees below normal. So, and then you can see that cold below normal air, 10, 15 degrees below normal across the south and southeast. So colder than normal down there and this is for today. Kind of going through time. This is, we'll just step forward. This is every 3 hours. So this is Monday morning into Monday. So you can kind of see that cold air is going into Florida. Pretty much all the eastern half of the U.S. is going to be below normal temperatures for the most part. Out west, above normal for the most part. So going into the week here, we'll just quickly show you Tuesday. That's starting Tuesday. You can kind of start to see up across the north, a little bit below normal, but nothing to write home about. Across the south, you see it's starting to get close to normal. The warmer temperatures start spreading across the south again as we get towards the middle of the week. This is Wednesday now, and you can kind of see Now temperatures are starting to warm up and it's above normal from all across the west, all the way through the south, even up into the northeast as we get into Wednesday night. And then there's that next, you see that really cold, them purples, that's cold air, that's coming down. That's 30, 35 degrees below normal up across the northern plains. So this is as we're heading into Friday, Thursday and Friday. And that'll dip south. This is still Friday. You look at it, it's dipping. Gonna be cold up there. It's getting colder than normal for the south as we head into the weekend. So, hey, that's your weather update. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again later.